Good evening, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to the match preview between Manchester United and Everton, guys. We're here. We finally got Premier League football. We finally got another match preview. So glad to be back, guys. Talking about proper football, talking about Premier League football. That is what it's all about, guys. How you all feeling? How you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a fabulous Friday so far. Are we looking forward to the game? A little bit disappointed we're playing on Monday. One of them things. Ruben Amorim has had his press conference. I'm going to be going through that. I'll be digesting some of the key quotes in regards to that press conference. Some bad news, of course, guys, that we're going to be looking at going forward. But all in all, a pretty positive press conference, of course. We're going to be going through the Manchester United lineup as I've got here on my shoulder. Of course, guys, the Manchester United lineup that I believe that he will pick. Most likely, of course, there will maybe some kind of changes here and there. There may be a Maguire here and there. We don't know, guys. But that is the lineup that I believe that Ruben Amorim will pick. It's good to be back, guys. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome, guys, to the stream. Welcome to the only place to be for Manchester United news, of course, guys. It is Stretford Post, where we battle with chest, where we defy all the odds, where we give it to the Scousers. That's what we do here, guys. We're Manchester United at the end of the day, guys. I want to thank everyone who's joining me so far. Hope you're doing well. Before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to smash a like on the video. That'd be absolutely fantastic. If you lovely people can do that for me, that is absolutely brilliant, of course. Let's get straight into the news, of course, guys. Ruben Amorim has been speaking to the presser, of course, guys. Let me just go through some of the quotes from Ruben Amorim after the presser. Just want to read some of these quotes. Al Amorim said about in regards to the injury update about Man United, which is extremely important, of course. He said in regards to injury, he is going to be out for a few weeks in regards to Benjamin Sesko. Not that serious. We have to be careful. He is feeling better. More or less, he will be back at the same time Ahmad leaves for the AFCON. Maguire's not ready. Kobe didn't train today, but we could see him tomorrow. Now, guys, look, so that means that we're not going to have Maguire. So obviously that doubles down on the narrative that Lenny Yoro will play for Manchester United tomorrow. Look, the injury situation is becoming a little bit serious. This is what we're talking about. This is why we're speaking about building a proper squad for Manchester United, of course, guys. That is what it's all about. Building a squad that can take us forward, building a squad that, if we get injuries, if we get suspensions, we can fill up that squad, of course. Ruben Amorim went on to say in regards to the AFCON players and the players that are going to AFCON, we have rules when we have to release players. We are trying to keep them a little longer, but not in our hands. It will be 2 weeks before the start. Now, this comment, guys, I don't know what you think about it. It's absolutely telling. So the likes of Mbremo and Ahmad could leave for the AFCON 2 weeks before the AFCON actually starts, which is, I think, about the 7th of December. Something like that is not good, guys. It really isn't good. For goodness sake, with all due respect to the AFCON, come on, guys. You know what I mean? This is Premier League football. It's absolutely mad. And as a fan of the AFCON and stuff like that, I have to admit that the timing is absolutely atrocious. I don't care if it's been played like that for many, many years. Things should evolve, things should change, and we're not stuck in the Stone Ages. We're playing bloody international games every bloody 5 weeks. And I'm not only talking about the AFCON, I'm talking about the European and the qualifiers as well. We need to have a period in the season where we have no Premier League football and just straight up international football, if they want to do that, of course, because we're going to be missing two of our best players for a number of weeks, guys, and it's going to be absolutely peak. You're looking at a month and a half. For crying out loud, guys. It is almost 10% of the season. Of course, Ruben Amorim went on to say as well, Amorim on the table being tight. The table doesn't matter. It is not. It is so tight. If you know the history of our team, you never know when it will be difficult. Absolutely. He's absolutely right here. And as we talk about the little bit of PTSD, obviously, when we're playing the smaller clubs, of course, obviously, we do have problems in defeating the smaller clubs, of course, Evertons of this world, Wolves of this world, the Bournemouths of this world. We do have problems in defeating those teams sometimes. We're not too bad at beating the bigger teams. It's just those teams that we struggle against, of course, guys. And I agree with him. We have to be on our toes and we have to be ready, of course, guys. Absolutely. Ruben Amorim said, Amorim asked whether Shaw can play left wing back. Yeah, of course. Sure. Look, listen, I'm not even going to say this. Luke Shaw used to play left wing, but I just don't think he has the legs anymore. But here we go. This is what Ruben Amorim said. Yes, he can play there. It is a load that the player does in that position is different. Of course, he can play there. He's a smart player and fit at the moment. He is a smart player. But the one thing about the wing back position, you have to be fit. And you have to be bombing up and down that wing back non-stop all game. So obviously it is a difficult job for him to do at his age as well. Do you know what I mean? And especially with his injury record, of course. Ruben Amorim said on his year anniversary at Manchester United, time flies when you're having fun, isn't it? Guys, it was moving very fast, and the environment was very different in the Premier League. There was a feeling that it was the best league and the best club in the world. We are showing that, but the important thing is that we are not forgetting what we do now. The irrelevant Man United there, as everyone likes to say, we're still the best club in the world, no matter what you want to say. And like I said this morning about people hating Manchester United, it's a bit like a YouTube video with the thumbs up and the thumbs down. You may get 25,000, but in this case, nearly 1 billion likes, and you might get 300,000 dislikes. Do people care about the 300,000 dislikes? I don't think they do. At the end of the day, you're only going to hate people. If you're a massive club, people are just going to hate. And obviously, we created a lot of PTSD for a lot of these rival fans. And obviously, I understand that. And I apologize for the pain that we've caused over the many, many years that we've been playing Premier League football and winning Premier League trophies, not just 2 in 40 years. We have to remember we suffered last year. I expect a team with more control and dominance. Now, this is something that I spoke about earlier on today, in regards to Manchester United going missing during games, Man United going missing for 20-minute, 30-minute intervals during the game. And this is something that is actually affecting us. It happened against Nottingham Forest. It happened against Spurs as well. And we have to stop this. We have to try and control games. And this is what I said the other day. I also said this after the Tottenham game. Man United can control games, right? Need to control games. Man United have too many times where they just go missing within games. The difference between Man United and Arsenal is that Arsenal can control a game, and they never look like they're going to concede a goal. Even when they concede a goal, they don't look like they're going to concede another goal. With Man United, it's a bit like, you know what, we concede a goal, and then we're going to concede another goal. And that happened against Nottingham Forest, and that happened against Tottenham Hotspur as well. So obviously, yeah, we have to fix the control thing in our football team and be more composed. That comes with leadership as well, by the way, guys. Absolutely. Ruben Amorim said on Benjamin Sesko, just to clarify, he's going to stay a few weeks out. I don't know how long, but it's not that serious. Good news. We have to be careful with him. He is going to recover and he is feeling better. Look, you know what? Bad timing, Sesko injury, but hopefully he will be back by the AFCON, of course, when Ahmad goes to the AFCON, as I spoke about earlier. Hopefully he will be back by then, and hopefully we need him. Guys, we need him. Of course we do. It's pretty evident that he's not rating Xerxes. It's pretty evident in regards to that. There's a few players that he's not rating at the moment for whatever reason, of course. It's up to him, of course. And in regards to, we spoke about this yesterday, about Licha Martinez playing in the midfield, guys. Now, he's basically clarified what I said yesterday. And here we go, guys. He said, an intelligent player can play anywhere, of course. But it's not a position that is suited to him. Exactly. Of course, he can fill in. He's close to returning competition. So he basically clarified what I said yesterday. You could play Licha Martinez in the midfield. You can use him as a temporary option just to fit in, just a stopgap. But he, as Ruben Amorim said, and as I said yesterday, he is not a midfielder. There's a reason that Erik ten Hag and Ruben Amorim have not played him in that position. There's a reason for that. And no, we can talk all day long to the cows come home about, you know, he should play in this position, he could play in that position. But the midfield position, as is being proven with Bruno Fernandes, it doesn't suit everyone. And you have to be a certain type of player to play that midfield. It's completely different. The midfield position is completely different. And you can't just chuck a player who's injury prone, by the way, who's not only played there a handful of times in his whole career, to play in that midfield in the Premier League all of a sudden, you know, and that's what I was saying. So even when we needed midfielders, we haven't played Licha Martinez in midfield. And I think this is very telling and very, very important. So those are some of the quotes, guys. What do you all think about the quotes in regards to Ruben Amorim? How do you think about it? Guys, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome to everyone who's doing well. Let me just read out some of your comments. Hope everyone is blessed, of course. Peace and blessings, RJ. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I just don't want Liverpool to get Semenyo. So don't worry about Liverpool. We have no worry about them. Don't worry about them. They've got a hoodoo around them. Don't worry about that. We'll make sure that carries on. Good evening, Sal. I am excited for this game. Big up F from me too, my guy. Definitely excited for the game as well. Big up RJ. Sal, our next 5 games look good, so good on paper. They do. And look, you know, we could quite possibly go 10 games unbeaten. It's a very, very realistic proposition that Man United can go unbeaten for 10 games. We go unbeaten for 10 games. I want to see the Ruben Mouters, just hide. Now, Ruben spoke yesterday on an interview about changing. Now, I want to clarify something because I know there's a lot of people that I told you he's changing. I told you he tweaked his system. Ruben Amorim's not tweaked anything. Right? He's got the same formation. The fundamentals are the same. Every single manager in the world, even Alex Ferguson, tweak things. They tweak things. They change things based on games. This is not what we're saying. Ruben Amorim's fundamentals and the way he plays are similar. He does adjust from the players that he has got, right? And that is what it is. Now, I'm coming at these people because there's some people getting very on their high heels. You know who they are. Very, very self-righteous and arrogant. So they think that they're right. They're tacticos and all this nonsense, okay? These people were crying to get Ruben Amorim out of the football club. That's what they were doing. They were vying for Ruben Amorim to lose a football game so that they could be proven right and so that he could be sacked. That was the problem, right? Maybe, just maybe, if they waited for Ruben Amorim to evolve, to get these players used to the system, and that's basically what it is. He's got used to the Premier League. Players are getting used to the system. This is basically what it is. There's a lot of people out there who say, oh, I told you, look at him. He told you, he said it himself, blah, 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 blah. It's just egotistical narcissists. That's what they are. The fundamental details on Ruben Amorim's game are fundamentally the same. Okay, it's still got the same system. Certain things change within games. That happens. You learn things as you go along, especially as a young manager. You may tweak that. You may change that. Every manager does that. We're not saying that. You wanted to change the system. You wanted to change the formation. You didn't talk about tweaks. You didn't talk about change. You spoke about 4-3-3. You didn't speak about 3-2-4, 3-4-2-1, did you? And this is the problem. You know, and this is what creates division in the Manchester United fan base, that these people cannot admit when they're wrong, cannot just hold that and just get on with it. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. RJ, Sal, do you think Kevin Sardi from Brentford? Yeah, I don't think Brentford are going to sell us any more players. 7th December is bad. Yes, it is indeed. I think 7th AFCON players start. Yeah, 2 weeks before the tournament, apparently, not in regards to the playoffs, but it is, yeah, in regards to getting the players ready for the AFCON. The African teams want the players there 2 weeks before the tournament starts. It's like the World Cup, isn't it? So when you go to the World Cup, you're going to want the players for 2-3 weeks before the World Cup starts, isn't it? So they can get prepared, so they can get I mean, that's understandable. I just feel like the whole thing has been, planned very, very badly. And not only in regards to the AFCON, before people jump on me, it's to do with world football in general, in regards to the World Cup qualifiers as well. The amount of international games that have been this season, I'm actually think the international games are competing with the Premier League games at the moment, with the amount of international games that have been. Do you know what I mean? Guys, absolutely. RJ, Bruno, if Bruno moves RAM and mainly next to Casemiro, I think we'll be back, be okay. I mean, let's hope so, mate. Absolutely. So, when do AFCON start? 21st of December, my guy. 21st of December, Ephraim. Viral, what's going on, my friend? What's going on? Amorim confirmed having changed things. Goes to say no one owns the truth. No one owns the truth but Ruben Amorim, and at the end of the day, he has not changed nothing. People don't understand what he's talking about. I think people have very twisted mind that they want to just twist it. You know, at the end of the day, every manager tweaks things during games. Every manager changes things during games. Every manager evolves during the season based on what the season is. And this is what a little bit of an education, okay? Let me just tell you about that as someone who's worked in football. This is a little bit of education. People tweak things, managers tweak things, managers evolve. This was not about tweaking. This was not about evolving. This is not about changing things in game and doing different things in game sometimes. This was about having an egotistical opinion that based around Ruben Amorim being sacked and changing his formation. Fundamentally, his formation is still the same. We're not that dumb to be talking about, oh, we can't change things during games and do things different during games, because every single thing happens differently during games. And that's what people have to talk about. Yes, people want to be right. They want to be right. I mean, I don't know how sad the life must be if this brings you joy, but you're dumbfounded if you think this is the truth. At the end of the day, he tweaks things based on the scenario of the game. Even Sir Alex Ferguson did that when he went from a 4-4-2 to a 4-5-1. He did that. Ruben Amorim is still playing a 3-4-2-1 as far as I'm aware. Is that not true? Correct. Now, these people wanted him to change his formation completely. 4-3-3. That's what they wanted, right? And they also wanted him out of the football club. They also wanted him sacked. Some of them said they want us to lose so that he gets sacked. That was the issue. It has nothing to do with tweaks. It has nothing to do with little changes in formation during a game based on the differences of opponents at the end of the day. Because anyway, regardless what manager you are, whether you're Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, you're going to tweak things based on scenarios during the game. And that's what happens in football. This is not a win for you. I know you wish it was a win, but unfortunately it's not, my friend. You just need to analyze it a little bit better. Big up. RJ, this Mainu's chance in AFCON potentially. Sal, is there any truth of wanting to go to Real Madrid? Yeah, there is a truth. Real Madrid are very, very interested in Ben Angelo Stiller. They are interested in him. They do want him at the football club, but this is what we have to contend with. This is why we have to do things quicker. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we have to make sure it's quicker. Yeah. Ephraim, Sal, what is your prediction for Monday's game? Now, I'm going to get into that. The prediction for the game, guys. The prediction for the game, I'm going with a 3-1 win for Manchester United. That's what I'm going for this game. I'm going for a 3-1 win for Man United. I don't think it'd be quite as easy as it was last season. As you remember, it was Ruben Amorim's first win. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it was Ruben Amorim's first win, guys. Absolutely. Yeah, but I just clarified what he meant. You guys have misread it. The system are the same. Everything is the same. He's changing things in game. Every manager does that. Every manager evolves. Every manager learns. This is not what the whole topic was about. This was not about tweaks and adjustments during games. Every single manager does that. All right. And they've been doing it since the beginning of time. We're talking about a completely revamp of the system in regards to the 4-3-3 and the 3-4-2-1. That's what they were saying. And get him out of my football club. Guys, instructions do change during viral. Viral instructions do change. But what you have to remember is that the fundamental play in regards to his play is the same. He's just doing some things different because the Premier League is different. But he's been doing that since the beginning of the season. This hasn't just happened. And this is one thing that they need to understand. This has been going on since the beginning of the season. We just choose to notice it. He's been doing that since the beginning of the season. Right? Now, because he's winning games, they want to bring it up. They want to talk about it. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's narcissism. Fickle fan, Sal. I don't know, man. This is ridiculous. Sal, I watch Saeed TV. I think he doesn't like Amorim and Rance. He likes Rance. I don't know about Amorim. I don't know about Saeed if he likes Amorim or not. Ephraim, Sal, did he not change players are becoming familiar? He asked him to do. Yeah, and that's partly to do with it as well, Ephraim. That is partly to do with it as well. The people don't want to look at it because at the end of the day, the mark of a smart person is the person who can analyze things from a factual point of view, from an objective point of view, where, you pick out different scenarios within games, you look at the game, you analyze the game. Ruben Amorim's changed since the beginning of the season, but people choose not to see that because the results weren't going well. He changed. The players were struggling initially. They played well against Arsenal. They did very well against Arsenal. Perhaps should have got a point or even a win against Arsenal. Should have beaten Fulham 2-1, missed the penalty. Now, this is funny, isn't it? This is the fickle world of football. This is the fickle world of football where people think that their shit don't stink, basically. And this is the thing where people need to analyze games and look at games. They're coming from a very mature bimbo sort of area in regards to the way they're talking. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, Flex and all that, they got as much knowledge about football as a flipping dumbbell. You know what I mean? In their head, And to be honest with you, it's difficult to implement knowledge to them because they won't. Because they're not based around what is right for Manchester United. They're based around what is right for their ego and what is going to feed into that ego and what's going to feed into that narrative. That's all they're interested in at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Big up Jengas, what's going on, my friend? Absolutely, guys, absolutely. Big up Jengas, you absolute legend. RG, sack the fraud fans, yeah. At the end of the day, the fundamental problem that I was having, the biggest problem that I was having is that these people gave up too early. They were screaming Ruben Amorim out. That's what they were doing. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, they were screaming him out. They were giving up too early. They're the ones who, you know what, threw him under the bus early. And look, now it's proven that, you know what, if you have a little bit of patience, the overriding fact here is that if you have a little bit of patience, things might turn around and things might get better. And I think this is what's important. Good evening, Kenny. What's going on? Good evening, Sal. Looking fresh as always. Good. Big up yourself. Good to see you, Kenny. I hope you're doing well, brother. I hope everything is blessed with you. Good to see you, my guy. I hope everything is nice. Of course. RJ, they are in denial, Sal. They're in denial because it's a kind of egotistical thing, and understandably, they don't want to be made to look wrong in front of people, and that's all it is, because they're big platforms, and when they're made to look like a prat, that's what happens, isn't it? At the end of the day, guys, and unfortunately, we can't really justify that. You just have to let them get on with it. To be honest with you, it's ridiculous. To be honest, guys, absolutely. Fundamental parts of the Manchester United game have not changed. Same as me, Ephraim, I've gone for a 3-1 win to Manchester United, maybe a 3-0 win for Manchester United, because I know that Everton are having problems in scoring. It could be a 3-1 win for Manchester United. I think 4-1 would be lovely. We won there 4-0 last season. It was one of our better performances of the season, of course. If we remember, it was a good performance, I remember. And yeah, it was exciting. I remember I was in a hotel at that time when Everton played Man United last season at Old Trafford, and it was a very good win for Man United. One of the few of that season, of course. One of the highlights of that season, of course. RJ, 3-0. Big up, RJ. Take that all day long. Kenny says 3-0 as well. I'll take that all day long as well. Absolutely. Yeah, 3-0 would be a great score for Man United. That would be great. Just as long as we can win the game. That's the most important thing at the end of the day. And then we can move on from these games, you know, and move on to the Crystal Palace game. Because the Crystal Palace game for me, right? The Crystal Palace game for me is like the test for us, because we've been struggling at Palace over recent years. And that game probably is one of the most difficult games we're going to be playing in this next few months. It's Crystal Palace away. I actually have more concerns about Crystal Palace away, believe it or not, as I do with Liverpool away. You know, so hopefully Man United can beat Everton and go into that Crystal Palace game and maybe surprise and change the narrative, of course. Absolutely. Jengus, I unsub from a lot of these clown channels. Most of them are shit, to be honest. I mean, look, you know, at the end of the day, you know, people feed into the narratives. They feed into the hatred that is around Man United. Everyone is entitled to opinion. Everyone has an opinion. That's a fact, right? And the fact is, what I don't like is that you can have your opinion, but don't force your opinions upon someone. Don't try and gaslight people into believing something that is not true. And this is the thing. And what you don't do is that when you have your opinion, you don't go extreme in your opinion. You don't have extreme this or extreme that. You keep it in the middle, and you keep it respectful, and you keep it Manchester United based. When you're calling out for the manager to be sacked, you know, I mean, so early and not, you know, it's crazy, to be honest. Absolutely. RJ, nice to see the youth training with the first team. I do. I mean, obviously, Ruben Amorim was talking about there is a way in for those youth players. That these youth players need to be ready. When they're ready to step up, they need to be ready. And I agree with him that at any time they need to be ready. They have to be ready to step into that team when we're needed. And let's not forget that when the AFCON starts, those young players may be playing a part. You know what I mean? They may get their part, of course. Absolutely. Only Man United Twitter fans crash out after winning football matches. I mean, look, would crash out after winning football. I mean, Man United are full of surprises, Man United fan base. And I would quotation Man United fan bases, of course, because they go in other channels and they just snarl at the football club. It defeats the opinion of supporting your football club at the end of the day. A lot of these guys just want to be right and, you know, don't want to be proven wrong. And every single one of us as human beings will be proven wrong in our life, you know, and that is one thing we have to remember. You know, even Ruben Amorim will be proven wrong. I mean, if he wasn't proven wrong, he would never lose any football matches at the end of the day, isn't it? You know, and yeah, and if we are all right, we all predict the score right now, right, wouldn't we? Every single game that comes up from now on, we will get it right because we're all geniuses. And that is what that's what basically what they think in their head, but it's a myth, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Ephraim, Sal, do you think it will help us, Crystal Palace, playing a Conference League next week? I mean, it hasn't helped us so far. Tottenham Hotspur played in Europe the week we played them, and it didn't really help us, did it? In fact, that Tottenham Hotspur looked a little bit more fitter than us during that game, which was a bit concerning, of course, guys, especially during the second half when there was that 25, 30-minute spell where they were overriding us and they were dominating us, which is why Ruben Amorim made those substitutions. And I couldn't blame him for those substitutions because at the time we were all saying, yeah, these are perfect substitutions. He needed to do these substitutions. But it didn't work, did it? So I would question the fitness of some of these players. I don't know what goes on with them. I mean, intensity, they have a problem with intensity. Teams look more fitted than us. But that hasn't only been going on since Ruben Amorim. This has been going on since Erik ten Hag when people were saying Erik ten Hag trains them too hard. Do you remember that? Of course, absolutely. Jengis, I admit I was getting very concerned with having doubts Amorim, and he had to show us something. He's done that, in my opinion. He's shown progress. Jengis, everyone has a right to be concerned. Everyone has a right for their football club that they support all their life. You know what I mean? They have a right to question things. They have a right to doubt things. But one thing we don't do, isn't it, Jengis? We don't jump to conclusions, and we don't overreact, and we don't just, you know, at the end of the day, punch someone for a pinch. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And that's what I would say. And I feel like the people were overreacting. You know, and you know, they were jumping the gun a little bit after 5 games, and they won't admit they're wrong. They will never do that. Sal, did you watch the new Academy director interview? I haven't seen it yet. I will see it this week, of course, guys. I haven't seen it yet, RJ. Absolutely not. I haven't seen it yet, guys. Absolutely. So, look, at the end of the day, we move on. Football is about moving on. Football is about thinking about what's next, what we're going to do in the next game. Of course, I know that if Ruben Amorim loses his next game, those same people who are talking about they were right about the system will be complaining about the system again. It will be all over again, round and round we go, round and round in circles we go, because this is what they do at the end of the day, isn't it? At the end of the day, they've already made up their mind about Ruben Amorim. They're not going to change. Even though they're trying to cover it up, their narcissism requires them to cover it up. That, at the moment he's winning games, so they're going to say, well, I was right because he changed. And that is what they're doing. You just have to listen to it to actually believe it. The arrogance and the ego is pathetic, in my opinion, but it is what it is. And, this is what we're getting. And this is what creates division in the fan base. And this is what, people don't understand. We can't have a legitimate conversation. There is nobody on this in the Twitter atmosphere, in the Twitter sphere, that will come on this channel and debate me. You know what I mean? The clowns are waiting to pounce. Absolutely, Jengis. This is what it's all about, mate. You will see them. If we don't beat Everton, if we draw against Everton or something like that happens, right? They will be back saying, I told you, it's the formation, it's the system, he's doing this, he's doing that wrong, he's doing that, he's doing this wrong. And then that whole narrative about, the system will go out the window again, and they'll start edging towards getting him out of the football club again. They will start doing that again. And this is what we're talking about. You know what I mean? This is why they will not say, well, you know what, it didn't work this time, but I like the way he's changing it. I like the way he's doing that. They wouldn't do that. Of course they wouldn't. They'll just say, look, I told you the system is not working. See, this is what they're going to do. This is not about being right or wrong. This is about being right all the time. And you know what? This is about worshipping an opinion. And when you worship opinion, you go onto dangerous grounds, because this is a very, very, egotistical, overinflated ego that they have, that, anything they say is going to be wrong. And this is the problem with it. And when I think about them, the people who are doing it, those people are the ones that have been given platforms. They didn't build it, by the way. And they've had a yes. They've been told yes their whole lives. And that's the problem. I just feel like Ruben Amorim is that guy for, that's what we've been saying from us. And what do we say about this, guys? I can come on this channel and say, I told you about Ruben Amorim. I told you about Ruben Amorim. I can come on there and say, I told you Ruben Amorim's the guy. I told you. I mean, because at the end of the day, I wasn't interested in systems. I wasn't interested in formations. I was just saying, back the manager. That's what I was saying. And look, lo and behold, I'm right. Hold that. I can sit here all day and say that. But what's the point? What am I going to do by saying that? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like I said, we're all wrong at the end of the day. Because if I'm right all the time, I will predict on Monday's score absolutely spot on. I will get that score correct. I'll get the Crystal Palace score correct, because I'm an absolute genius. But I'm not, am I, at the end of the day? And this is the problem with these people. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Ephraim. Sal, some of our fans, what they call our manager is shameful. I've heard a lot of things, and this is what we're talking about. This is what all it boils down to, right? That they have big platforms and big mouths, and the problem is that they just need to calm down a little bit. Patience is an intelligence. Patience is a skill. Patience is a talent. You have to be patient in life in general. You have to be patient and not just give up at any adversity. And that's what we're talking about. Don't give up at any adversity. Yes, managers change and tweak things. Yes, they do during games. Fundamentally, the formation is the same. They were talking about changing the formation. They were talking about sacking the manager. That's what they were doing. That's why they were wrong. But who cares? They just need to move on, stop talking about it, and stop making it a subject, and move on with it, and start supporting their football team, which they're supposed to do. Everyone gets wrong with things wrong. Viral. Rival trends? We are all human beings, mate. None of us are right all the time. I look in my list for that next 5. Yes, Palace is a potential banana skin. Palace is the banana skin. I mean, I wouldn't even say Palace is a banana skin. I think Palace is one of the most difficult games in the Premier League, and it has been over the last few years. Palace are an extremely well-run football club, well-managed, well-drilled, great academy. Everything about them is absolutely brilliant, and I admire the way they've done things over the years in regards to bringing players through, working on the young players as well. I think they're an absolute phenomenal industry. I mean, they're absolutely brilliant. They keep on their they keep at a level that is, you know what I mean, and qualifying for Europe, brilliant for them, of course, guys. And they come a long way, absolutely. Dave, I anticipate a decisive triumph for our team, forecasting a conclusion. So we'll see. A lot of people got 3-0 on Monday, reflecting not only on our superior strategy and execution, but also unwavering commitment to excellent. Big up, my friend. Where did you get that from? ChatGPT. Big up, Dave. Absolutely. Big up. Patience is skill. Absolutely. Patience is a skill. Patience is a talent. And this is what people don't understand. Let's not pretend that they were Ruben Amorim out. Let's not pretend that they were screaming Ruben Amorim out, right? Now, we're not Ruben Amorim invincible here. We know that managers can get sacked. That's football at the end of the day. Managers get sacked every single year. You know, every single month, a manager somewhere is being sacked. That's life. But what you got to do, whilst you are a Man United fan, you got to show your support, and you got to try and, you know what, make it better by supporting. Energy will resonate. The energy will resonate, and the positive energy will come forth, of course. Absolutely. It is imperative that our team embarks on a relentless quest for victory. Mate, this ChatGPT guy think upcoming 5 matches, each encounter presents an invaluable opportunity to demonstrate the resilience of getting top 4. Well done. Great prompt in the chat, GP, Dave. I love you, man. Big up. Both Arsenal and Forest City can do us favors this weekend. Maybe by the end of Monday, we might be in those Champions League positions. Who knows, guys? Absolutely. Jengus, I learned a few weeks back that it's okay to be wrong. It's not a deal. I mean, at the end of the day, what people have to understand, Jengus, in regards to ego, there are people out there who actually believe that they are never wrong. Look, I would tell you that a lot of things that we've been wrong, I've been wrong over the years and all that, because at the end of the day, if we were all right, we will be like, all of us would be multi-billionaires, wouldn't we? At the end of the day. And we're not, you know, so at the end of the day, people just need to move on and stuff and quit the ego. Absolutely. United can lose to Everton and they'll be back in the mud. Smokes fate. Yeah, exactly. There you go, man. But at least, look, listen. At least with Liverpool fans, they don't like us anyway. Liverpool are entitled to dislike us. That's facts. That's banter. That's the way it is. I will take the piss out of Liverpool fans. They'll take the piss out of me. That's life. That's banter. But when it's your own team, and your own fans of your own team doing this, it's demoralizing, shall I say? It's demoralizing. And it's tiring, to be honest with you. And arguing with their ego is a bit like arguing with a wall, squeezing water out of a stone. Do you know what I mean? It's just so frustrating. Sal, I'm a learned guy. I got a PhD, bro. Big up, Dave. What you got a PhD in, my friend? Doctor? You're a doctor, mate? Big up yourself, Dave. Big up. I'm only joking, mate, anyway. But yeah, look, yeah. The most important thing that I would say is that, you know, if these people think that they're right and they got it right and they've been right all along, if we do not win that game on Monday, I don't want to see them turning like a flip-flop turning and saying, oh, he's not the guy. Oh, I don't want to see them overreacting anymore. That's it. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to see them overreacting anymore. I want to see them starting to support their football club, which they're supposed to do, which is support their football club. And that is what they're supposed to do at the end of the day. Stop the nonsense, stop the arguing, stop all that business, guys. Absolutely. You should have seen Toby, that Spuds fan, on the Big Six yesterday, Sal. He didn't back his team, a defeatist mindset. And this is the thing. Having a defeatist mindset only resonates into negativity. When you resonate into negativity, it feeds into the players. And people underestimate this. People underestimate the negativity that you show will resonate. It will eventually go down to the team. It will, especially if you've got 70,000 people with very, very pessimistic views about the football club. And this is what it is at the end of the day. You know, when we're going into football games and we've got fans with extremely huge egos who are never wrong, we've got fans who are very negative, and we got fans who are maybe way too positive. It just doesn't add a mixture. Maybe if we follow one common goal, which is just supporting your football team, having your opinion, but supporting your football team until the end. And that is what you should be doing at the end of the day, guys. Not, you know, pretending that you know, everything you say is the absolute oracle. You're the oracle of football. That's what you are. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Pessimism is a sin. You know, you have to practice cautious pessimism at the end of the day, because, you know, when you're talking about something, I'm not going to come on here. If Man United lose 3-0 to Everton, I'm not going to come on here and say, oh, well, never mind. We'll be back next week. I'm going to criticize. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to say where we went wrong. What should have been done there? What should have been done there? Of course, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's people out there who, when we win, oh, but it's because of that. Oh, because of that. One thing I wouldn't do, even if we did lose, I wouldn't say get Ruben out of my club, get him out of my club. He's a fraud and this and that. Because, like, guys, you know what? I wish I could, you know, I could just make this happen. We lose to Everton and then watch those fans and then turn it back and then let us win, just to see what their reaction would be. Because you know that their reaction will be what they are. Spurs fans are born defeated, Sal. It's part of their DNA. It is part of their DNA, apart from last season when we absolutely gave them the Europa League. But what I would say is that, yeah, Spurs fans are used to it. My brother's a Spurs fan. He's been a Spurs fan for like 40 years. You know what I mean? And yeah, look, he suffered a lot, to be honest with you. Back your damn team, absolutely. Ephraim, most of the times who they think they are right always are defeated mentality. They think they are right always are defeated mentality. Yeah, absolutely. It's a defense mechanism for their ego. It actually is a sign of insecurity when you can't look at yourself in a mirror and say that I've got this problem, I've got that problem, I've got that problem. Now, look, these people, they can't take criticism. They can't take constructive criticism. They can't be deemed wrong or right at the end of the wrong, should I say. They can't be deemed wrong. And that's the problem. So when you have that within the fan base, when you have things that are wrong, that when you're wrong, you say, well, I was wrong that time. I'm unlucky, mate. I'm not an oracle. I can't predict everything in the future. Because right now, if I was an oracle, I would go up to a betting agency. I'll ring up my brother and say, put a bet on Man United to win 6-0 with this person, that person scoring a goal on Monday. Because I know I'm right. And then I'm going to be a millionaire in a very, very short space of time. But these people, these people think that they are these absolutely miraculous, mythical, oraclistic beings that have been sent down from the grace of God to give us the all knowledge tacticos of football. Right at the end of the day. If that was the case, then Ruben Amorim would basically call you right now and he'll say, look, you need to come into Carrington and you need to train these players because you are the all-knowing Jesus, peace be upon him, of football. And that's what you are. And that's what it is at the end of the day. And, you know, it's tiring. It's ridiculous. And when people feel the need to go on Twitter, I told you so, I told you so. The I told you so brigade, when they're old and grey, in their 80 years old and they're shit in their pants, who gives a fuck? And that's what I would say. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, and that is what life is all about. You know. So look, at the end of the day, we're all going to be humbled in some way or another in life, and you know, they just need to humble themselves because they're not that great. You know what I mean? Let me just tell them that right now. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Big up everyone. Dave. Even with the tricky game against Palace, I still fancy us to get a decent amount of points in the next 5 games. A good run of this solidifies us in the top 4 because the weekend. I mean, look, you know, Crystal Palace is always going to be a difficult game, but that does represent a game that can test us. You know, that I mean, let's put the Everton game to one side, right? Let's put that Everton game to one side. This Crystal Palace game could be a test, right, for us because it's a game that we have been losing over the last few years. We remember when we lost 4-0. Only a couple of years ago, with Eric Ten Hag in charge. Remember that? You know, it was a difficult game and it always has been a difficult game in recent memory. When I was growing up, Crystal Palace was an easy game. I want to go back to that. You know what I mean? It's a game that we should win. It's a game if we have aspirations to win, get in the Champions League, it's a game that we must win because it is a game that Arsenal will win. You know, Liverpool did lose to Crystal Palace. Let's not forget that. They'll forget that. Of course, the irrelevant Man United who are ahead of them in the league, they will forget that. But they did lose to Crystal Palace, of course, if we remember. RJ, big up RJ. I can't stand Saeed's negativity. It's not realism, it's negativity. Look, there is a lot of negativity and pessimism and PTSD within the Manchester United fan base. And some of it is warranted, but I think it's a little bit overhyped and it's a little bit over pushed and overemphasized how painful these weeks have been, apparently, when we're 5 games unbeaten. I think right now is the time. This is the time to be a little bit positive, because at the end of the day, like I've always said, smile whilst you still have teeth. Because at the end of the day, when you're in a restaurant and you're trying to drink a can of Coke and your teeth fall in the glass, you're going to wish that you had teeth, and you're going to wish you smiled a little bit more often. Do you know what I mean? Because I remember when I took my granddad to a restaurant in Portugal, in the Algarve. And my granddad was a very funny gentleman. And basically what he did, it was a posh restaurant in Portugal, and he picked up his Baileys because that's what he loved. He loved the Baileys, and his teeth fell in the glass in the middle of the posh restaurant. He also put his teeth in the upside down. I don't know whether he done it by purpose, but he's put his teeth upside down, right? That overly emphasized the fact that when you're getting older and when you can't smile anymore, imagine I'm on this stream and I start, welcome to Stretford Post, I'm Sal Warner, this is Stretford Post, and my teeth come flying out onto the screen. You're going to wish that you had teeth, and you're going to wish you smiled a little bit more. And that's what I would say about it. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'll say about these people, you know? And I think there's people just need to clear up the ego. They need to humble themselves a little bit, get down to earth a little bit, kind of, you know, and just carry on. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you are a human being. I see Forest getting 3 points at Anfield. They did get 3 points there last season, of course, guys. Absolutely. They did get 3 points there last season. Absolutely. RJ, you're a toxic positive. RJ's cool. RJ's very realistic sometimes. The one thing about RJ, which I know about RJ because I've seen him in the last game, Jengus, the one thing about RJ went overboard when we were losing to Tottenham. You remember? So RJ, sometimes in life we're going to be losing games, but you have to stick by the team. When we're losing games, we have to stick by the team. If we lose the game, then we can have a little run and we can talk about it. But at the end of the day, what we need to do is that whilst the game's going on, you never know. We drew against Tottenham with 10 men. It was good character. I know it's not sustainable. I know Man United need to be better. I know that Man United need to show a little bit more of an element of control within the games. That's correct. But Everton on Monday, that's the lineup I'm going with. You've got Sene Lamens, you've got Lenny Yoro, Matthias de Ligt, and Luke Shaw as the centre-backs. You've got Dorgu as a right wing-back. You've got Casemiro and Bruno, of course, in the midfield. You've got Ahmad, as a right wing-back. You've got Casemiro and Bruno in midfield. You've got Dorgu as a left wing-back. Kuna and Mbremo up front with the false number 9. Of course, guys, we've got the false number 9. Mason Mount and Cunha will be playing that false number 9 position. Potentially, of course. If Amram sees Xerxes as a number 10, does it mean that he's behind Mount and Cunha? I don't know what's going on with Xerxes at the moment. Something that I said last season, guys are top class Turkey. At the end of the day, look, you know what I would say, right? I tend to try and look at the positive side of things now. You know, I've been around the block in social media for a long time, guys. I've been around the block and I've seen a lot of people. I've met a lot of people. I've had Saeed. I know Saeed. I've known him literally 7 years, you know, and he's been on this channel and stuff like that. I know what Saeed. I know him. At the end of the day, what we have to understand is this, right? Some people have their own character. They have their own characteristics. This is the way they are. We can't change the way they are, unfortunately. I've got my weaknesses. I've got my strengths and my weaknesses, okay? And at the end of the day, this is all where we are. But the overriding fact about me is that I've learned my mistake from turning on managers too soon. I've learned about that. I understand now. And I did kind of understand before, but I didn't want to believe it, how important the culture at the football club is. The context within what is going on in every single situation. The ownership, what resonates down into the football pitch. And I've been looking at this, you know, and studying it for a long time now. I haven't just come across it with an enlightenment and thought, yeah, this is how I think now. This is how I do things now. You know, at the end of the day, it is something much more deeper to it that I looked at. And I would urge everyone to do it. I would urge everyone to stop saying, I told you so, hold that. I would urge everyone to stop doing that, because at the end of the day, that just creates a domino effect of anger. It doesn't create, when you say, I told you so, what does that represent? What does that do? Does it give you an air of confidence, of positivity with the fan base? Does it do that? It doesn't, does it, at the end of the day? None of us are right. None of us are wrong 100%. And this is what we have to believe. I don't mind criticism on the manager. It's absolutely fine. You can have the criticism of the manager. That's your prerogative. You can have the criticism of the manager. The only thing I would urge people is not to be sarcastic, not to be overreacting, not to jump on the manager as soon as, we say boot, that's it, we sack the manager. And that's the only thing I would say. Is Ruben Amorim invincible? Absolutely not. Ruben Amorim could be sacked at any given moment, and that is football, where Manchester United will move on. But whilst he is our manager, get that energy, that big platform that you got, and push that energy and try and support. No doubt that they do deep down, probably do deep down. Anger gets the better of people sometimes. Annoyance gets the better of people sometimes, even myself. And I think that, what we have to do as a fan base is just try and unite for a common cause and look at things objectively, look at things in context, and look at things going forward. How are we going to improve as a football club? How are we going to get to where we're going to go? Because at the end of the day, the Liverpools, the Chelseas, the Man Cities, the Arsenals are looking at us. And let me tell you this right now, guys. Those people are laughing at us. They're laughing at us. They're dying with laughter. Look at those Man United fans fighting between each other. My biggest concern is when people go on other channels and slander the football club, and then pretend they're not wrong or right, guys. RJ, I was a joke. Yeah, look, listen, guys, Jengus is a legend, by the way. RJ, he is joking. Guys, I really appreciate all you legends in there. Jengus been there for a while. I've got nothing but love for everyone. Kenny, got nothing but love. Dave, all you guys. You're absolute legends, guys. We do have a great conversation. The great thing about this community is that we actually have conversations and we twist things. That's this, that, and the other. Do you know what I mean? Dave, facts out. How I hate Palace is slowly becoming one of our bogey teams. I know, and they never used to be. You know what I mean? I do remember when Crystal Palace were in the FA Cup semi-final against Man United, gave us a little bit of a problem. 2-2, of course, and stuff like that. And went to a replay, ended up winning the game and stuff like that. I remember my very first game, Dave, was Crystal Palace in 1990 FA Cup final. 3-3. And look, Crystal Palace have always been a little bit of a team that have always given us some problems. There was a period between the mid-90s, Crystal Palace, when they had Chris Armstrong, John Solarco, and all those players there, that we were beating them quite easily. It was a guaranteed 3 points. Maybe drew the odd game here and there. I think we drew at Crystal Palace a couple of times. But, recently, we haven't been good against them. We've been poor. They've actually been the team out of all the Premier League right now who've given us the most problems. Let's be real here, guys. In the recent years, they've actually been the team. I mean, the last time we won at Crystal Palace, obviously, was a last-minute goal from Nemanja Vidic under Jose Mourinho. If you all remember it, fantastic volley right into the corner. Do you remember it? You know what I mean? It was a great goal. And to be honest with you, hopefully we can rekindle some of that. We can change this narrative where we're Crystal Palace becoming our bogey team. Let's cut it off from the source. And then and look, like we've done a lot of things this season so far that I've said, okay, we're changing. We changed the narrative against Brighton. We beat Liverpool since 2016 at Anfield. We showed character against Nottingham Forest. I know it's not sustainable, but we showed character against Nottingham Forest. We showed character against Tottenham with 10 men. Something is changing, and that's what's good. And it's the character of the team. I mean, it's the character that is changing. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I believe in, at the end of the day. Stockholm Syndrome, big up, my friend. That's what negative people call anyone that didn't want Amorim out weirdos. We didn't want Amorim out because we felt it was too early to have Amorim out. And I don't believe that changing the manager is going to change anything at the moment, really. I mean, who they're going to get in right now is ridiculous. I'm very, very happy that Ruben Amorim is proving a lot of doubters wrong. However, we all know, Jengus, I know that there's a lot of football to be played. And this whole thing, this positivity train could change. It won't change significantly for me because I understand the circumstances and the context going on, in particular, the AFCON, for example. And we haven't got a big window. We haven't got a big team. We haven't got a big squad, unfortunately. right? And this is why the Glazers and Ineos had a 4 out of 10 window. Okay, this is why they had a 4 out of 10 window. I will not gaslight the Glazers or Ineos into thinking that they've been brilliant and magnificent for Man United, because at the moment, the jury is still out on them. Right? And at the end of the day, the reason we're going to struggle in the AFCON is because we didn't fix the squad. Yeah, we built a couple of attacking players, fantastic, but we didn't build the squad. Where's our midfield? Where's our wing backs? Got the goalkeeper last minute. Might have got a point against Arsenal minimum if we got the goalkeeper in earlier. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, and this is what we're talking about. You know. Ephraim, Sal, some of our fans think manager only can do everything without the ingredients. You can do everything. I mean, that's what I said. They think the manager's some fall from grace. You know what I mean? That he has to, like Cristiano Ronaldo said. What did Cristiano Ronaldo said? He can't work miracles. He can't work miracles. Exactly. I can't stand Spurs. Recently, I can't stand Spurs. Recently, I can't. Good afternoon. What's going on, Darkus? How you doing, DJ Darkus? Good to see you, my guy. Hope everything is blessed. Good afternoon, Sal. You're on form as usual. Love the granddad stories. Mine was quite funny too, as far as Monday. I'm going for 2-0. Big up, DJ Darkus. Absolutely love you, brother. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, look, my late granddad who passed away only less than a year ago was a very funny, positive guy that, you know, you would laugh at. We never saw eye to eye, unfortunately, because of my cultural differences. I'm a mixed race gentleman. You know, my granddad wasn't. You know, I mean, basically he was English and full-blown English, and but he will, every time we spent time together, it was like a funny time, and always a very memorable time. And this is what I'm talking about. We're here for a good time, not a long time. And I think that is what we all should remember in everything that we do, guys. Life's too short to be crying over spilt milk. Amram is definitely building a better culture. If you look at that, you can see it, the camaraderie among the players. Absolutely. Absolutely. I do like the camaraderie. The one thing I liked about it, Jengas, is I like the way, even when the team drew or anything like that, I mean, even when the players don't play, they're still on that pitch hugging and like that and saying, come on. And even when they don't play. And I think that's a good thing to have. Absolutely. I like listening to Terry, Sal. I like listening to you. Mark Goldbridge isn't always my cup of tea. Mark, I mean, Mark, look, I've known Mark for 7 years. I know Mark. Mark should get me on the channel. It's about time, Mark, that I was on the channel, mate. I would bring a lot. I believe I can. I'll bring a lot of insight and a lot of comedy as well. I definitely will. But yeah, look, I've known Mark for 7 years, and we almost worked together. You know, he almost came to the UAE, funny enough, and worked on a show. Maybe in the future, you never know. Yeah, look, I like Mark, but Terry, I've been on his channel 3 times. I know about Terry. Yeah, Terry's a homie. I went to the same school as Terry, so we had the same teacher, Mr. Hager. Ask him. You know, so at the end of the day, yeah, Hager was my games teacher. But yeah, he's at Fulham now, by the way, working at Fulham. And yeah, Terry's all right. Terry's a legend. Look, you know what I mean? We don't always agree on everything. We don't always have the same opinions. I don't like his opinion on Arsenal half the time. Some of it I agree with. Some of it I'm like, come on, Terry, don't talk about Arsenal so much. I bloody don't like Arsenal, for fuck's sake. Please. Can't stand there, mate. You were raised in London. You know about Arsenal. You know what we feel. You know what I mean? But, you know, it is what it is, guys. And that's what opinion is. And, you know, and I respect it. And the difference with Mark, the difference with Terry in particular, is that one thing about them is that they are not extreme in their opinions. They listen to other opinions. They look at it. They analyze it. They talk about it. They don't just dismiss it. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would say about that. Absolutely. And I wish them all the best. I always do. Whether we meet one day, whether we don't meet one day, I've been fortunate enough to meet Mark. I wish Terry the best. You know, coming from the East End of London, I know how difficult it is to come out the rubble and come out the environment that is East London and Leighton and Leytonstone, and how difficult it is. I'm a kid from East London, Leytonstone in East London. I was born in a 1-bedroom flat, 5 of us. You know, so times are very difficult. So we always try to strive to be better, and we always try to better ourselves, not only for ourselves, for our families as well. And that's what I you know, I've been striving for. Whether I had to live in a women's beating home for a while because we didn't have nowhere to stay, or whether I had to stay in a 1-bedroom flat, which was crime ridden. At the end of the day, this is how my life was, you know. And when I see people like Terry doing his thing, doing well for himself, I have nothing but love for it. Nothing but love, brother. And that's all I say, because at the end of the day, I know how difficult it is. I came from nothing to be working with D12 and Sway DeCifo and the Outlaws and people like that, going to America, going to Detroit, going to Chicago, going to all these fantastic places, shooting music videos and doing amazing things. And I've always been content with that. I've always been happy with that. Do you know what I mean? And I would never, if everything's finished today, I'll be saying, well, you know what? At least I've done that, and I've done that. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, nothing is guaranteed. And one thing I don't like people who attack people for no reason. I don't like selective outrage. I think that understanding and context needs to be put into practice in every given moment. And this is what I would say about life in general, and including supporting the manager of Manchester United. Now, guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me. Really appreciate you all. Don't forget, guys, I will be back tomorrow for Breaking Dawn, hopefully. I'll try not to be at a beach. I know sometimes I'm at a beach, guys. It's not because I'm bloody David Hasselhoff or anything like that. It's the fact that I do go jogging and something. I have to do my training routine and stuff like that. Okay, guys? So if I'm at a beach tomorrow, bear with me. All right? Bear with me, of course, guys. Absolutely. Not a bear, literally, with me. Just bear with me. Just stay patient with me. Absolutely, guys. And that's what it's all about. But yeah, guys, we're leading up to Monday. We're building up to Monday. That is my team. Feel free to write comments. Let me know what you think about it, guys. My prediction for the game is 3-1 to Manchester United. I'm going for 3-1 to Manchester United. That is my scoreline, guys. Let me know what you think about that. What is your score? Do you think Man United will struggle in this game? Do you think Man United will lose this game? What do you think, guys? Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your thoughts. Put your comments in. Guys, smash a like on the video, please, guys. Let's get up to 50 likes today. If we can do that, that'd be absolutely fantastic. If you could smash a like, that'd be absolutely brilliant, guys. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Do you know what I mean? I would say, glory, Man United. Support the manager. You know what I mean? We're not talking about overly zealous, toxic positivity here. We're talking about the birds and the bees in regards to supporting your football club. And that is what it's about at the end of the day. And that's how we should do it, guys, in regards to Manchester United, guys. Absolutely. But, guys, look, listen, please don't forget to smash a like, please. Please smash a like. And don't forget to subscribe if you're lurking in the shadows as well, guys. I would really appreciate that. Let me just read some of your. Palace away is hard, says RJ. I agree. Absolutely. Oh, yes, Sal. Big up. Big up, my friend. Big up, DJ Darkers. Big up. Jengas, to be fair, some of our content creators, I can be vexed myself after a loss and need a little while. And this is why I don't do match reactions, my guy, Jengas. This is why I don't do many match reactions, because I don't want to say anything I don't mean, and I regret the next day, and it gets clipped up and, you know, all that rubbish. I hope that's the team that I'm not sure at the left wing back. The rumors I've heard, he's not going to play left wing back. Trust me. It's just a theory, of course. Sorry I'm late. I hope you're well. Big up Talk of the Devil. And listen, mate, thank you so much, my brother. Big up Bobby for the super chat, for the membership, my friend. Thank you for joining the family. Really appreciate, my friend. Really appreciate you. Thank you for joining the family as usual. Thank you for supporting the channel, my guy. Really appreciate it. You're an absolute legend. Thank you. Jengas, Said wants 4 calls. We'll make it. You guys. I'm mixed race too, Sal. I understand. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Jenga. You know the struggles. Thanks, Sal. A bit emotional today. Thank you. Look, at the end of the day, I talk a lot about things. People don't understand where I come from. I never had a stepping stone. I never had a Terry or a Mark Goldbridge to give me elevation. I never had that. I've always done things myself right from the beginning. And, and so have many people around. Whether I was a fishmonger, whether I was a security guard in a hospital, whether I worked in Safeways as doing chicken, whether I was working in Marks and Spencer or New Look or River Island, which I've done in Croydon. Whatever people want to say about, anything, about me, I've earned my corn. And, I haven't had any I took all the escalators. One quote from Chipmunk. I took all the steps, no escalators. That's what it was. I took all the steps, no escalators. And that is what it was. And I'm still taking steps, improving, Every single day, guys. Absolutely. But thank you. I want to say thank you, Dargus. Big up, Bobby. You absolute legend. Big up, everyone. He's guys in the stream, of course. Hey, Beef Bully. Long time no see. Big up yourself. On Monday, Sal will be 1 year for Amram, Sal. Absolutely, Beef Bully. Absolutely. We congratulations to Ruben Amram on the difficult time it has been. United 4, Everton 0. I would take that all day long. It was that scoreline last season, if we remember quite rightly, of course, guys. Absolutely. Guys, Ephraim, no problem. We will be there. Have a lovely night. Everyone have a lovely night. You have a great Friday evening, guys. Enjoy it. And I'll see you tomorrow for Breaking Dawn, guys. Enjoy it. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate every single one of your support, as usual, guys. Have a great time. And, I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to put notifications on, guys. Cheers. Take it easy. Peace.